All right. All right. So we should be live now. Just kind of starting this out and getting people a chance to join us before 7 o'clock hits. Basically, just start with an intro. Again, Alan, Mid Iowa Anglers. Most of you know and see me. I'm sure a lot of you have seen Dan and Cold Snap Outdoors all over our page. A lot of deals and sponsorship support from Dan last year and this year, and it's good to see some activity from him on the page. I guess we'll start with Dan. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, Dan Hogue with Cold Snap Outdoors. We've had Cold Snap Outdoors now for 22 years. We started in 2002, so quite a while now. And we started with a simple, what seems like a simple product now, but the auger cover, hands-free, clips on, don't have to get your hands anywhere near the blades. It was just sort of one of those aha moments that we thought of and developed it. And actually, weird thing was, it came to me in the middle of the summer. We had talked about how to build it and worked on some prototypes and kind of shelved it. And then out of the blue, the how to do it popped into my head. And I sat down on a edge of a bed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and drew it on a notepad from the hotel. And,
okay.
And then when I got back, I ran it past the designer, and we drew it all up and made some prototypes. And that's where it all started 22 years ago now.
Yeah, so the Cold Snap cover, I mean, it's pretty well known, pretty well utilized, especially, amongst tournament anglers, I would say. A pretty important safety rule in those tournaments is to have your auger covered while in transport. And it became something that would just seemed essential, and one of those safety items that a lot of guys won't go without. I mean, I know I put one on. I remember when an auger cover wasn't available for a hand like Mora, Strike Master Mora. We didn't have one that fit that, and I purposely switched over to a laser just because you could get the Cold Snap cover to fit on it. So I remember having to jerry rig magnets, and it solved a problem a lot of anglers had, just a safety problem, but also tournament anglers, because it is quick and easy, and it's pretty foolproof. I mean, it functions in really, really cold, frigid weather, and it's kind of hard to screw up. So it became, I think, an essential tool for a lot of anglers over the years. So.
And we lifetime guarantee the cover and the band and everything. So we wouldn't be able to do that if we had a lot of problems with the plastic or the bands breaking. So
right,
it's all guaranteed.
Awesome. I didn't know that had a lifetime. I honestly haven't had I buy an auger and buy a Cold Snap cover to go with it, and I've never had to replace one. I mean, that just speaks to how durable and thought out and quality assurance that they are. So one other item that I don't know how it came about, maybe you can share that, but another essential item I think a lot of anglers get from you guys or seek out from you guys is the hook remover toothpick series. Can you tell us about maybe how that came about, or anything that has generated over the years?
Yeah, good question. That actually was something that one of our pro staffers brought to us, and I had always told him that if you bring me a good idea and I develop it and start selling it, I'll name it after you. So the guy who brought it to us was Todd. His nickname's T2. So that's why it's called the T2 toothpick.
Okay.
And the toothpick is just a nod to the fact that you use it to get hooks out of fish's mouths. So.
Right.
And then we did some designs on it and got it patented, and we sell thousands of them. And I think it's safe to say that it's the most used and most popular hook remover in ice fishing, and it's getting to be one of the most popular fish hook removers for open water as well.
Right. Anytime you got a fish that's really eating it and it gets down in there and you can't get it out, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. Again, another item that's really popular with tournament anglers. I mean, time spent unhooking fish is time lost catching more fish when it comes to tournament angling. So I know a lot of tournament anglers, if not all tournament anglers that I've seen, are carrying some kind of toothpick with them when it comes to that. I mean, I've seen the extra large ones, the regular ones, pink, green, the retractable. Yep, the retractable red. I mean, it's again one of those items that once you use it, you kind of want to have it no matter where you're at, because when you need it, it's irreplaceable. So, I guess some of the old things have been talked about. Is there any new products that you're excited about lately? I know, me and Brad were pretty close friends with Shaylin and Brady, a couple of your pro staffers. We've seen them kind of testing out some prototypes that you guys have had over the years, and especially some of their suits. Is there anything you would you'd highlight on some of your newer products?
Yeah, that's a good point. So you guys in your tournament series probably noticed Shaylin wearing a set of prototype bibs for Cold Snap, a good year or more before we came out with the suit. And that actually is,
right.
Year 2 of the prototyping. So he was in on the second year of it. The first year of it, there was several other of us that were wearing it on ice and keeping it pretty quiet, working through all the different design changes that we wanted till we got it just right. But how hard those guys fish.
Right.
And they were going through at least a set of bibs a year because they are just hard chargers, running the whole time on the knees, fishing hard. And they're still wearing the same set of bibs as they had last year. And they said, everything's good.
Yeah, that is definitely one thing that I've noticed about them is their durability. I know, again, like you said, they're running hard and they're fishing on their knees a lot. And they've said the padding in the knees is really awesome. I haven't had a chance to try them on or try them out, but I know they've spoken very highly of them. Everything I've seen about them has had great reviews, so it's really exciting. Other than the durability in the knees, I know like the CS1 jacket kind of series, is that multiple layers or?
Yeah, so the best thing about the whole series in the suit is that it's not just an ice fishing bib, and it's not just an ice fishing coat. It's got flotation, of course, and knee pads, but you zip out the liners and you can wear it as a fully functioning, high performance, 100% waterproof, event laminated performance rain suit in the summer in the boat.
Oh, okay.
Just like any type of very high performing event laminated blackfish or sim suit that breathes and is 100% waterproof, the CS1 is as well. So really, you're not just buying an ice fishing set, you're buying an all season suit that you can wear. Say you go out to Lake Erie in the fall, or you go out there in the spring, or you just on the Missouri River. I fished in the end of February in the Missouri River. Sometimes it's 50 degrees out. And, but when you get there in the morning, it's 25 and the ramp is all iced up. So one of the nice things about the system is as a zip out liner that's flotation and has Primaloft gold insulation, which is the most expensive insulation. Now, why is that important? Well, because it's also the best performing. So a very thin layer of Primaloft gold gives you all the heat retention that your cheaper 3M type Thinsulate stuff would if you'd have to put 3 or 4 layers together.
Right.
You don't have all the bulk or the weight.
And
what we did with this suit is we said, I want the most high performing suit that we can possibly build. I don't care what it costs because people and anglers want the best. I've said it many times, there's no such thing as a warm rain. So having the liners in to keep yourself warm in a rainstorm is really pretty key, I think, as well. But flotation goes into it, and zip out liner in the bib too. A zip out pant liner in the bib.
The bibs are lined too, huh? Okay. So that That's great. One thing that we're looking at this year on our open water catfish series is we're stretching it all the way out from early March into October, and so there's definitely going to be some times. We're going to Okoboji in early March, hoping the ice is out, chasing some big catfish up there, and I'm sure a suit that you can wear not just while you're ice fishing, because a lot of our catfish anglers do ice fish, but you can wear as rain gear. You can have, basically one suit that's going to fit your needs all year round, from rain to cold to even, warm, no such thing as a warm rain, but when it's warmer out and you get that rain and the sun comes out, boy, the last thing you want to do is be in a fully lined bib and fully lined parka. It's nice to have one system that would apply to all conditions or change to all conditions. So I know that's one.
It's like when you go get on a buddy's boat, you got a bag of your clothes, you got a couple tackle boxes or bags of tackle, plus your rods and everything else, your lunchbox and all the stuff for the day. If you can cut that down so you're not carrying two bags of clothes, one is your ice gear to keep warm, and the other one is your rain gear in case it rains. I mean, it just makes sense to be more efficient.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So, I guess we talked a little bit before we got on here. You said that, show season is wrapping up. I guess, if somebody's looked at some of these shows, especially Central Iowa, we don't have a lot of big shows here in Central Iowa in the Des Moines area. If somebody was considering traveling or spending some money to travel to an ice show next winter, what are some highlights or some must-sees or must experiences out of the ice show kind of season, do you think?
Well, I would say, if you're going to get to a show, the closest one for everybody from Iowa would be the Sioux Falls show, of course.
Okay.
Free parking, the entry fee is very low. I think you pay one fee and you can come all 3 days. Todd throws a great show. It's really big. It's probably got a bigger footprint than any show outside of St. Paul. So it's got everything you're going to see in St. Paul. I would think about, at least 90% of it. And then Oshkosh is sort of about the same, I'd say, size as Sioux Falls, or maybe a little smaller, but also a big show. But, what are the best things that I saw at the shows? There's really not been any huge leaps in innovation, in my opinion. I mean, there's been incremental changes. You see improvements in lithium batteries and the cost of lithium batteries coming down. There's the big thing at all the shows this year is like all the shuttles for forward-facing sonar. There's probably 5 or 6 that I can think of just off the top of my head for shuttles on the market. So those are very popular at all the shows. Everybody's, displaying their new shuttles. So anything to do revolving around forward-facing sonar was big at all the ice fishing shows.
Right.
Then just your normal assortment of gadgets and little widget type stuff that people like. We sold, just containers and containers of toothpicks. So a lot of those auger covers, of course, we sold a ton of those. And to be quite frank with you, I think probably one of the biggest innovations at the show was our clothing line. I mean, if you can come out of the gate, a small company like Cold Snap with this kind of innovation, and people ask me, well, how does Cold Snap, what do they know about clothing? Well, we partnered with someone who's a designer at a major waterfall label, who's got 20 years of experience. So we didn't start from ground zero and have to figure it all out and make all these mistakes. We partnered with somebody who's got all the contacts in the factories and has all the fabrics and all the procedures and the stitches and the partnerships down with Event and Primaloft and all these. So we're basically leapfrogging ahead on all this stuff. Right.
Well, and we touched base on it earlier. not only that, but you got, guys that are actually out there in the field giving you feedback for a couple years now. Everything from your recreational anglers to your highly competitive tournament anglers. It's not like you just jump into the apparel market. You got a lot of people, that you pull resources from that not only know the apparel market, but know, the sport in itself and the activity that, you're really trying to focus in on and target, so that's got to help immensely, just having that kind of input and feedback right away on things, and not having to, put a product out there that's not ready yet. I mean, I'm not going to name any particulars, but we see all the time how, a new product might be, sent to market, and, ice anglers, that one thing you can be sure of, they're going to go out when it's 20, 40 below, and they're going to test, the quality of whatever components you use, so, the last thing you want to do is put a product out there and then have seams rip out and just, a quality failure on those things. And I think that's one thing with Cold Snap.
We went top shelf on everything, like the straps on the bibs. They're literally the thickness of like expensive waiter straps, so that they don't eventually get loose. And you've all seen it; they degrade over time. And what we did was we took survey and went around and looked at all the jackets in different industries, from waterfall to ski to snowmobile wear to ice wear to open water, and took all the little parts we liked on other stuff and just brought it into one system. Like the side belts on the bibs, those were something we saw in the ski industry. The high pockets for hand warmer pockets on the bibs and the jacket, even the soft shell jacket I'm wearing tonight. That's a nod to the waterfall industry. You see wader jackets, the pockets are high because they have to be above the wader line. Right. But it also just makes a ton of sense in ice fishing. You're on your knees, your hands are up here, your shoulders are back more. You're not all hunched over like if you have your hands in your lower pockets. Right. So, yeah, there's just a lot of thought that went into it, and the guys and me and a bunch of really high quality people sat down and spent different nights talking over stuff. We need to add this. We should take this and put this in. Take this out. We had some changes. At one time, we had pockets that went at angles on the bibs, because it made sense. If you put your hand in there at an angle, you don't have to change your direction to go in. And it looked great, but it looked funny. So we took that out. And then we have magnet pockets on the pockets you're into all the time. So if you're wearing wool gloves, it doesn't catch on the Velcro. Right. Or it doesn't scratch your hand. When it's cold out, it scratches your hand pretty bad. So just tons of little stuff like that makes it more user friendly. Now, I mean, obviously, through the posts you've been making lately and everything, we know you have an online, retail space. Is there a physical retail space maybe in central Iowa that people could go, see in person and try on some of the ice suits and stuff? Yeah, right now you can go to Oak Hill Outdoors. They have a full set of CS1s there to try on and get sized. And they'll be able to take your order or give you a code that you'll be able to order and get 20% off through Oak Hill. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Last week we were talking to Nathan Walker, and he said he had really enjoyed the show up at Oak Hill as well. They had a little mini ice launch show up there. And anybody that doesn't know, Oak Hill is up in the Milford, Iowa, West Okoboji area. It's pretty hard to miss. They got a really nice retail space up there. I know the first time I was up there was during one of the NIFC events that was on West Okoboji Emerson Bay. And they were really great at that time. They had just built that showroom, I think. So yeah, anybody that's looking to actually get their hands on one of these suits and check it over, they got a full line up there you can check out. So that's awesome. Yeah, and invite
Um,
you to just go check it out, try it on, see what you think.
yeah,
Ryan Hale and the team up at Oak Hill have a great store. There's all kinds of ice fishing gear there. It's pretty cool for those who haven't been there. There's golf simulators, there's a bar, there's a boat dealership right in the store. It's really top shelf place.
yeah. We talked earlier before we launched this about sometimes you get out before show season, but really now that show season's wound down, it's kind of your time to get out and start enjoying the activity yourself. Is there any bucket list trips maybe in your bucket that you'd like to see or experience?
Well, I mean, there's always some friends of mine were in Alaska last week.
Oh wow.
That would be cool. Don Cox and team were up in Alaska fishing for char. That would be cool. I haven't been to Cascade. I've had the opportunity to go a bunch of times, but I just don't relish the idea of riding a truck that far. I'd probably fly
Right.
in, and we have retailers and contacts out there. We could make it happen. I just haven't taken the step to do it. I've been
Right.
to Winnipeg and I loved it. It was fun. It's an easy trip. I mean,
Where'd you say?
Lake Winnipeg.
Okay. Yeah.
And for anybody who hasn't done it before, it's a pretty easy trip, and you can DIY that one. You can either get a Airbnb or a hotel, and with just a little bit of research, it'll be pretty easy to do. It's a big bowl on the south end of Lake Winnipeg, and with a little bit of research, you'll be just fine out there.
Okay.
But yeah, there really isn't anything that I wanted to do bad enough that I haven't done it.
Right.
But there's a few things that, I wouldn't mind doing Cascade, but again, I don't want to ride in truck for a day to get
Right.
there. But yeah.
What about open water? Is there anything, a guy in the industry, what's on your bucket list open water?
Oh, I'd like to do the Rainy River run in April, right when it
Okay.
opens. I had it booked during COVID. I had a place booked, boat was ready to go, and they closed the ramps. So I didn't get there that year, and I haven't rebooked yet. Probably should do that. Erie, I haven't been to Erie, oddly enough, yet. But
Okay.
some guys are going this year, and I got invited, so I might go. Again, it's a long drive, and
Right.
my attention span's not that great for long trips.
Right.
Same reason that I enjoy shooting, but not all that much into hunting as much when I was younger.
Right.
Like the excitement, don't necessarily like all the downtime.
Right. Yeah. Well, it just, the older you get, the more finite time gets. And, you really have to want to put some of these trips together to make them happen. And, as my kids get older and stuff, I just find myself so busy that it's hard to find time to make those trips and those plans happen, especially with the people that you want them to happen with. So,
Yeah.
I definitely get that, but,
I'd like to take my daughter on a fly-in trip. I've been to Canada many times, and it's great, love it. But I'd like to take her to a fly-in trip sometime in the summer. My brother's been doing them with his kids, and so I'll make that happen. But yeah, for the most part, I've done a lot of what I wanted to do, and that's what's great about being in the industry. You get to meet some great people and make some great contacts, and we share places, and we're going to be spending a week at 40 Creek Lodge up by Webster here after Christmas, and I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to get a bunch of Cold Snap Pro team up there, and our photographer and videographer up there, and just put together, some killer photos and videos for all of our advertising for next season and later this season. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. We'll be up there for a week, and that's this gorgeous property right on the northeast corner of Waubay, 40 Creek Lodge. Yeah, it's great.
Right. All right. We're getting towards the end here. I got one hardball question for you. I don't know how hardball it'll be because you kind of hinted at it. What you said maybe later this year. Do you have anything maybe that people don't know about that's on the horizon that you can share with us, or any teasers?
I mean, is product development?
Yeah, product development, just anything that's gonna maybe get released, or any plans for the rest of this year that people don't necessarily know about or should be looking out for.
Well, there won't be anything released later this year, but we are working on at least 3 or 4 different things. One, a fairly major thing, as far as it pertains to what we use for ice fishing,
Okay.
that hasn't been really re-envisioned or rethought of in probably 10 years, that I
Okay.
think will be awesome.
Okay.
There's some updates on smaller stuff that we have, like we've updated our rod clamp to go all plastic with no metal, which even works better. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. Show season got me into a cold, and anybody that saw me last weekend at Oshkosh knew I was miserable. So I'm just getting over that. We're doing some add-on stuff to the T2 toothpick for next season. That's
Okay.
gonna be cool. So other than that, we're continuing with the clothing line, expanding some things there. We're running some smoking deals on Christmas and CS1 stuff now. We actually extended, because it was so popular, the Black Friday sale is still on, actually.
Yeah.
So if anybody is looking at a suit and you're around Oak Hill, go get sized, or reach out to me and I can get you sized or talk you through it. But there's even a sizing guide on our website, so easy to do. But no, we're constantly trying to think of new stuff. And I guess I don't really try to think of stuff so much as when I'm using the things I already have, if I'm unhappy with it, usually the idea pops into my head, well, why don't you just do it this way instead? And then how would I do it? How would I design it? And
Right.
I can show you stuff that's laying around on my desk right now, just chicken scratches, where I send it to my buddy Chad Mones at Hitchdock and say, hey, can you help me prototype this? And I send him a picture of it. And then like maybe a week or 2 later, all of a sudden I see a picture of he's got it built in his shop.
Nice.
So we're working on something there that's going to be really exciting. Something that everybody will use. And it's a big change and a big upgrade that I'm not ready to even talk to you about what it is yet.
Yeah.
But it'll be really cool. Yeah, it will be.
Cool. So that's something to look forward to maybe by launch next year.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay.
There's a working prototype. One of the ways we thought of doing it, the second one is in the prototypes in production. So yeah, the first prototype works just fine, works great. But there's a simpler way I thought of to do it as well.
Nice.
It just depends on whether or not it's cost effective to build it, because it has to hit price points or nobody's going to want to buy it. If it's too hard to build and too expensive to build, by the time you get to the retail price point, it'd be too expensive. Nobody wants it. So you have to balance all these things.
Right. Well, I think you guys do a really good job of product development. Like I said, purpose-built things that everybody finds almost irreplaceable and don't really, once they start using cold snap covers, toothpicks, it sounds like the CS1, apparel, it seems to be hitting the mark when it comes to all those things, checking all those boxes as far as quality, innovative, everything in one package kind of deal. So that's really exciting to see and hear that you guys, are continuing to develop, but not rush things to the market. So that's super exciting. Any last words, anything you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's still looking for, innovative gear, check out our website. We've got, right now we're running specials on ice rods as well. They're 40% off, both our Pro Series and our Redline Series rods that were all purpose designed by our in-house rod builder, Jim Gerard. And we have them cloned and produced overseas and then bring them in at a smoking value. But they're all like purpose built and not off the rack. That's why we call them factory custom. They're all designed and made especially for us. But they're really awesome stuff too. So a bunch of Christmas deals too. So head to the website.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, everything on the website. I was just on there today. Everything was really easy to navigate and easy to find. We had some, I think they were part of your Red Line series. We had some rods that you had donated last year that, were super popular, and I'm sure guys are going to get to put to use this season if they haven't already. One thing on our end as we leave, anybody that has been following kind of ice conditions here in Des Moines, our first event's out just west of Des Moines at Badger Creek. It's a lake that got, we try and fish lakes that have plenty of panfish population so that everybody can catch. We try and be welcoming to all groups with a low entry point of $100 per team of two. And to be honest with you, if anybody was paying attention or following, everybody knows I got out on the ice for the first time this season last Saturday. That was out at Badger, where we're going to have our first tournament. And I would say, definitely take all the safety precautions. The extended forecast is looking like, it warms and cools, but the 4 inches of ice I was on, it's not going to disappear overnight. Hopefully that continues to build and we get a cold snap real quick where we get some fishable ice and we can get out there and have a great first event to kick off the season. So with that being said, Dan, I always appreciate your support. I put out there, fairly early in the season, and you're always one of the first people to respond and throw your hat in the ring as far as donating and supporting our participants, which is invaluable to us and what we're trying to build with a community down here in Central Iowa. So I appreciate your time tonight. And, if anybody's looking for anything, cold snap covers, toothpicks, apparel, gloves, the CS1 suit, they're all available on their website. You should go check them out. So
thank you, Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.